Hello and welcome to the video. Today I wanted to share with you a really easy way of getting some great looking miniatures ready for the table. And this method can be used for board game figures, Warhammer figures, really any kind of miniature that you want to paint up. And if you want to do it easily and quickly, I think this is going to give you some great results. And for the example, I'm going to use these miniatures from Mutant Zone Wars. Now this board game is a post-apocalyptic game, so I wanted these guys to start off pretty dark, so that's why I primed them black. And all I'm going to do is put down a basic base coating for these miniatures, and then we're going to do an oil wash over top of them, and that is it. And I think you're going to be really surprised at the end results of how good they look and how easy it is to get these guys ready and on the table. If you have a bunch of miniatures for your board game, I really think that you're gonna like this technique. I know that a lot of people buy these board games, and the miniatures in them are usually really nicely sculpted, and it's a shame not to paint them. But, you know, I understand that a lot of people don't have the time, or they might feel like they just can't do a good job on them. But really, just putting down a base coat on them is not too difficult. You can use whatever colors you want. Be a little careful with how you're putting it down. You don't have to be perfect on this stage of it, because the oil wash is actually going to cover up a lot of mistakes that you make. Time that you spend being careful and putting down a base coat neatly on these, the better results you're going to get. And if you're anything like me, I hate playing with unpainted miniatures. I don't know what it is. It's like a quirk of mine. I almost won't play the game, even though I'm excited to play the game. I'll kind of wait until I have them all completely painted, which can take a lot of time, but it's just something that motivates me to, it gets me excited to play the game. And the miniatures, once you get them all painted up, they just look so much better on the board. I think it just gives you that immersion, and it just really helps you enjoy the game that much more. And to start painting your miniatures, you don't need special fancy expensive brushes or anything like that. I use really cheaper brushes. As long as they have a nice solid point on them for fine detailing, that usually works the best. For dry brushing, I've switched over to more like cheap makeup brushes that you can just get at a dollar store. Or I'll use an old paintbrush that has just become real frayed and sort of unusable for any kind of detailing. But as far as paints go, I do recommend getting a little bit better paints like Vallejo, Citadel, the Army Painter speed paints, the contrast paints. Those are all really work well. I've tried the cheap apple barrel paints on miniatures, and they just don't have they're just not made for it. And they just don't do a good job. So they're very inexpensive, but they do a really bad job on your miniatures. One area where if you're gonna spend some money on supplies, I would splurge a little bit and get some better paints. Now I did do a review of this Mutant Zone Wars game a couple of videos back, and I love these miniatures. I was super excited to start painting them, and I was really excited to get like a dark look to them because of the post-apocalyptic setting for the game. So I can't wait to get these guys all painted and actually play a game. And I may even do a video on the gameplay itself after I get a game or two under my belt and learn some of the rules. I think that might be kind of fun to do and get people more interested in this game. But as I said, these techniques, you know, any technique that you see in any of my videos can be used on any type of miniature. Even though I'm painting a Space Marine or a Tyranid or a dragon or whatever I'm painting at the time, I mean, you can use these techniques on anything that you have. D&D figures, board game miniatures, whatever you have, these techniques will work on all of them. And that's one thing that I really hope comes across in my videos, is that most of these techniques that I show are very beginner friendly. What I really would like is just if my videos help to inspire somebody to give it a shot to try painting their miniatures and then get some decent results and just really take off from there and just continue on with the hobby. That's kind of really why I make these videos and what I really hope for. And as you can see here, I've just been putting down base coats on all of the different parts. But as you can see, I'm not doing any special highlighting on these. I'm not doing any shading on them right now. I'm gonna let the oil wash take care of all of my shading. If you'd like to find any of the products that I'm using or that I review, you can check out the Amazon affiliate links in the descriptions below. Once you click those links, any purchase that you make through Amazon, I get a small commission from those, and it really helps to support the channel. I want to say a special thank you to the people who have already checked out those links, and it is greatly appreciated. So thank you. Okay, now that we have the base coats all finished, I'm going to try something new to see if it's going to work or not. I'm going to do a dry brush over all of the models using an off-white. And I'm hoping that this shows up underneath the oil wash once we're done. I'm not sure if it will or not, but I thought I'd give it a try. Okay, so now we're going to mix up our wash, and I'm just using black oil paints and thinner. And for this, you just need a tiny little daub of oil paints. A little bit goes a long way, and we don't have that much to do anyway. So I'm going to just a little dab of the paint, and then I'm going to mix in some of the thinner. Now, I don't have an exact measurement for the amount of thinner that I use. I try to get an ink-like consistency to it, but I have a little bit of the extra paint on the side in case I need to thicken it up just a little bit more. But you can always add more to it. It's harder to take off than if you start off light. Once we have the consistency that we like, I'm just going to put this over the entire model. These oil washes are great for running into all of the recesses, so you can really spread them around. If it's too light, add some more paint to it, or if it's too thick, then go ahead and add some more thinner to it. Just going over this part here, you can see how it flows. It covers up the white, but it's not globbing onto the miniature. And I'm going to do this for all of the minis. I'm just giving them a nice coat of this, and then once you're all finished, I let this dry for about 10 to 15 minutes or so before we start removing it with a makeup sponge. And that's right, I finally broke down, went to the dollar store, and got a big bag of makeup sponges. Now, if you don't have them, I've used Q-tips in my previous videos, but the problem with the Q-tips is that they leave behind fuzzies or strands of the cotton sometimes, and they kind of fall apart really easily. So I gotta say, with these sponges, I was really happy with how they were easy to use. They didn't fall apart. They didn't leave any material behind, and they soaked up the paint just fine. Now you do have to just very gently pull the sponge over the miniature. You're not rubbing at all because it will take the acrylic paint off in a hurry. So you have to use a very delicate touch here to just kind of go over it. And you can soak up as much of the wash as you like, or you can leave as much as you want on the miniature. And as you can see, I often dip the sponge into a little bit of the thinner there, just to help remove some of the wash, because I didn't want it as dark as it was on some areas. But I just want to make sure that all of the recesses have a lot of the wash still in them. And I want to leave even some of it on the flat areas just to show a little bit of darkness or dirtiness to these miniatures. And once you're satisfied with the amount of wash that you still have on them, you want to let these guys set. I let mine set for 24 hours just to make sure that the oil is completely dry, because it is not like regular paint. It is going to take these guys quite a while to dry off. So I give them a good 24 hours. Once they're all dry, I'm going to pretty much be done with these guys. I wanted to keep this pretty simple to show that you didn't have to put a ton of effort or highlighting into these guys to get some really nice looking board game miniatures. I wanted to keep it pretty simple and pretty quick. So I'm actually really happy with the amount of detail that came out in these guys with just a simple oil wash. I do think though, looking at them now, I probably could have skipped the highlighting part. I don't see where that came out at all. So I would probably skip that had I to redo it. And all I'm gonna do now is just put in some little dots for the eyes and any other highlighting that you want to. I didn't really feel the need to do any highlighting, But if you want to just add a little bit to maybe their shoulders or any of the prominent parts on them, maybe pick out some buttons on their vest, you could certainly do that now, and it's just going to make them look even better. I base these figures with my usual basing technique. I did a video on this a little while ago, so if you want to see how I did it, just go ahead and check out that video. And looking at this in post-production now, I forgot to brush off the excess static grass that clung to some of these miniatures. So note to self for the next video, don't be in such a hurry and make sure that the miniatures are really cleaned up before you do the final shoot. But yeah, I mean, I really like these guys. I was super excited to paint them and they did not disappoint me. I just really think that they're cool sculpts and I like the post-apocalyptic look. So yeah, with these guys all painted up, I'm eager to play a game of this. I just need to get the other faction painted up and I'll be ready to go. So if you made it this far, I want to say thanks for watching. I always appreciate you spending time, and I hope that you enjoyed watching. So with that, I will see you in the next one. Bye.